Guys, welcome back into Slaughterhouse Sports. This is breaking news of the biggest magnitude in the National Football League. This could be a Super Bowl winning move by the Pittsburgh Steelers. This can change the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 5 years. DK Metcalf is now signed to be the Pittsburgh Steelers' number one wide receiver. The Pittsburgh Steelers are sending a second-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks, I believe, for this season, and they also might be swapping picks in the future. The Pittsburgh Steelers are paying DK Metcalf a 5-year contract worth $150 million. So right here, got my laptop out and going to look at some of these, statistics here of the contract. And boy, oh boy, is this absolutely just a massive, massive deal. I'm loving this from the Pittsburgh Steelers perspective. I'm loving this roster. I'm really enjoying what they are building in Pittsburgh. So DK's 27 years old. By the time he's 32 years old, the contract will go out. But this is going to be a 4-year deal. He's going to be 32 years old. This is pretty much the prime of his career that you're getting Metcalf. I mean, I know that he's a little bit older, and by the time you get him towards 30 or 31 or 32, like the last couple of years might not be that great. However, you have TJ Watt, and TJ Watt, I believe, is I believe TJ's a similar age, and so is Minkah Fitzpatrick. So, yeah, TJ Watt's 30 years old. Minkah Fitzpatrick is up there in age as well. So this is really we're going to, to win this thing right now kind of move by the Steelers that I absolutely love. And looking here in this conference, so really, if you're paying somebody, let's do the calculations. If you're paying them $150 million over 5 years, that is going to be about 30. I want to say that's like $30 million a year. Would make him one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL. So 150 divided by 5 is 30. All right. Wow. Oh, wow. Look at those math skills, ladies and gentlemen. So Heinz Field, everybody's going to be excited to play at Heinz Field now. I love the move by the Steelers. I do. Now, in a couple of years, like I said, at 30 or 31, is that going to be really old for DK Metcalf? You freaking bet. But I love how they're going all in here with this roster to try to win a championship. Honestly, I would not sign a running back either. Najee Harris is a great guy, great human being, great person, decent at breaking tackles, but he's 26 or 27. He doesn't have the explosiveness. Okay. He's a free agent, I believe. Najee Harris, yes. And then Jaylen Warren might even be he's a restricted free agent. So if you can get Warren back, I would absolutely do that. So many of their wide receivers they're going to be losing. Mike Williams, they're going to be losing Van Jefferson, the free agency. All right. Ben Skoranek, they're going to be losing. So Roman Wilson as a 3rd-round pick, he was hurt a lot last year. He is absolutely massive. He's massive here because you need a slot receiver. And then in terms of your tight end position, I know that you have Pat Freiermuth, but let's see how old Pat is. I bet he's 27 or 28 years old. Pat's 26 years old. I still want a more explosive pass catcher than Pat Freiermuth. All right. If you get Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland, you need somebody that's a real pass catching threat there at the tight end position. I'd even look at Evan Ingram in free agency. I want the speed of Ingram, and I want the speed and I want the reliableness of a Pat Freiermuth if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields, all their quarterbacks are free agent quarterbacks. So with this offense, you want a strong-armed quarterback because George Pickens is on this roster and now DK Metcalf's on this roster. You need a guy that can freaking air it down the field. You don't want a Sam Darnold that's just going to dink and dunk his way down the football field. You need a passer that can absolutely let the thing rip. So if I'm honestly the Steelers, what's a really interesting move for the Steelers right now is you expect to be pretty good in the next couple of years. I would maybe try to trade up to the Tennessee Titans. I'd maybe try to get Cam Ward if I'm the Steelers. I'm going all in, pushing all the chips into the center of the table. I would try to get Cam Ward. He's probably the best quarterback that's available on the open market, all right? In free agency now, you can go ahead and sign Aaron Rodgers because you can have DK Metcalf. You're going to have Pickens, all right? Aaron Rodgers is probably the best free agent quarterback. Like, you're immediately in the Aaron Rodgers business right now if you are the Steelers. The other thing I'd look at, I would give this year's first and next year's first away, and I would try to go out there and I would try to get Cam Ward at the number 1 overall pick because you want to be relevant this year. What quarterbacks are you going to sign Justin Fields to a 2-year deal? And will Justin Fields be able to spread the ball out to Metcalf and will be able to take the top off of the defense with George Pickens? Now, Arthur Smith, too, they need to air the ball out. Like, Arthur Smith is so conservative in the passing game. He needs to air the football out, okay? That's what Arthur Smith needs to do for the Steelers to be successful, all right? Which is why Aaron Rodgers is just as good as Justin Fields, and the Steelers are going to be in no position to draft a quarterback. So, listen, at 22, if you like Tyler Shuck, is he going to be the quarterback that's going to win with Metcalf, that's going to win with George Pickens? You need a rock star at quarterback, which is why Cam Ward can come on in. And the Steelers now have a 3-year window. Metcalf is going to be 20. He's going to be 28 this season. He's going to be 29, and then he's going to be 30. There's 3 more years of Metcalf. Really, 2 more elite seasons left of DK Metcalf. Somebody's going to have to take advantage of this, all right? And what quarterback is going to take advantage of this? You can go out and get Rodgers for a year, but could you go land Cam Ward? And then, by the way, 1,000,000%, I'm not trading George Pickens because now Pickens will get absolute single coverage. Same with DK Metcalf. You now need Roman Wilson is a massive, massive deal, all right, as a slot receiver. Maybe even Stephon Diggs in the open market. I want to see how much money the Steelers have. If we're looking at free agency, could Stephon Diggs also be a possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because I love this. Finally, the Steelers are actually going all in to try to win a championship. So this move, when you have Metcalf and Pickens, you have 2 of the most physically imposing wide receivers out there on the edge. Okay, you have sensational talent on the edge. I would say that, you have Jefferson and Jefferson and Addison, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and then who else do you have that's like a great wide receiver tandem? I mean, you did have Kupp and Nakua, but this is immediately one of the best wide receiver tandems in the National Football League. It's better than anything Houston has. It's better than Buffalo. It's better than the Miami Dolphins. This is immediately the best team now for wide receiver play. You have a young offensive line that's coming into their own. You also have Minkah Fitzpatrick. So, gosh, oh gosh, I am so excited about this if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers. And finally, you're going to go out there and you're going to try to get a quarterback, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Fields, okay? You're not going to deal with Russell Wilson, all right, and his limitations. I would probably trade up to number 1 to go get Cam Ward because I believe that in 2 or 3 years, Cam Ward will be awesome and ready to win a Super Bowl. Could Aaron Rodgers now with Metcalf, could he win a Super Bowl with Metcalf and George Pickens? Will his personality connect with George Pickens? All right. That's what I want to know. But for Tomlin, this is really emblematic of Rooney. Rooney is out here spending money. Art Rooney is putting all the chips on the table, all the metaphors that you want to say that are probably not appropriate for this show. What he's doing right now is he is going all in. He's going F you to everyone in the league. I'm going all in. All right? With this defense, with this talent, with this team in this ball club. all right, in the AFC, we are loading up, okay? If it's an arms race and we are trying to get our military equipment, we are trying to land bazookas and talent. And when you have Metcalf, who's a physical specimen, and then you have a third-rounder out of Hoover High School in Birmingham, Alabama, in George Pickens, the former Georgia Bulldog, you have absolute rock stars on the X and Y's of your wide receivers. On the outside, you have two alpha number ones. So as a defense, no one in the NFL is going to be able to cover them man-to-man on the outside. Nobody. So then what it does is it loosens up the box, all right? So you just need a quarterback. Is Justin Fields. Now, the thing is with Fields, I think he is pretty close to George Pickens. I'm not opposed to giving Justin Fields, to giving him the keys to the kingdom. I'm probably not opposed. And then at pick 22, are you going out and getting a Colston Loveland? Are you getting an Evan Ingram? All right. It doesn't even need to be like a Tyler Booker. This doesn't need to be a defensive lineman. Like if you're the Steelers, you're a 10-win team, you're constantly 9 or 10 wins, you now need best player available. If Ashton Genty is there, you take him. If you love Omarion Hampton as a running back, you take him. If you love Travion Henderson, I think Henderson could be the guy. So on the offensive side of the ball, you load the heck up on the offensive side of the ball. All right, the one thing I would rule out with the Steelers and a young quarterback now is DK Metcalf at 28 years old and George Pickens in the prime of his career at 24 years old. They don't want to sit and wait around. Rooney and this team is not going to sit and wait around for Tyler Shuck, for Shedeur Sanders, or even a guy that I love in Cam Ward. They don't want to go through growing pains, which is why I believe that we could just see Justin Fields be the guy. If Arthur Smith, if Tomlin, if they believe that Fields is talented enough to be the quarterback, they should sign him tonight and not let him hit free agency. Guys, this is one of the most exciting trades in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers are immediately a super fun team in the National Football League. Super fun. And I'm so curious to see what they're going to do at quarterback. But I love this move. 1,000% love it. It's just like the Eagles getting A.J. Brown. The Steelers can immediately compete for a championship. Now, looking at the defense, you got Queen, you got Watt, you have Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton inside. I mean, I'm just reading out the names here. Nick Herbert can hopefully make a healthy recovery. He's a big-time player. Peyton Wilson is going to be someone in year 2 who's going to make a big-time leap. You got Joey Porter Jr., Love the pick, all right? And now Fitzpatrick, I believe he's like 30 years old as well. He's 28 years old and going to be 29 years old as a safety. Still can play really good football, all right? But I think the Steelers are damn excited about this. I think Metcalf is going to be really excited. I think that really Fields could be the guy from a leadership perspective, from the arm strength perspective. Rodgers is first of all, if you take in Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he's good enough I don't think he's dynamic. I don't think he's more dynamic than Justin Fields running the ball. I think that he could be worn down and old, so I don't really like it. It's a risk either way at quarterback. It's not perfect. If you go with Aaron, are you going to select Drew Aller next year? But no, you're in a win now moment. So we're talking out loud here. I think Fields makes the most sense. All right. And I'm very curious now. There's no need for Mike Williams to be re-signed right now. I want to know about team cap space in the NFL. I want to know where the Steelers now are standing. I think with Fields too, like the good news about not paying a quarterback is that you can pay Minka, you can pay TJ Watt, you can obviously pay our guy, DK Metcalf, that just signed. So the Patriots have $125 million in cap space. The Chargers tomorrow are going to have $93 million in cap space. The Redskins are going to have a healthy $88 million in cap space. So they can really sign a Stephon Diggs or one of these players. Boy, when we look down towards the bottom of the list, it looks like the Steelers, they are in the middle of the pack. They have about $46 million to spend. All right. So now let's look at the player rankings for, our free agency board here. Okay. Let's look at free agents. We're going to look at free agent tight ends. You do have Pat Freiermuth, but should you go out there and sign Ingram? I mean, I think it's a possibility. What slot wide receivers can you go out there and get? So for a tight end value, Jawan Johnson, by the way, is approximate, his range is, he's a decent player. But again, he's going to cost you about $6 million. If you're the Steelers, let's look at their offensive line. I think you should probably get another tackle. I guess you have Dan Moore, who's a tackle. I think that you should probably try to get another swing tackle in free agency here for that offensive side of the football. So tight end's interesting. You have Ingram and a couple of players. Now, Chris Godwin is a free agent. Could you line Chris up in the slot? Tyler Lockett. Would you pair Tyler Lockett now with DK Metcalf? Tyler Lockett's 32 years old. He's a veteran. Darius Slayton at 28 years old, kind of a possibility, but don't absolutely love his game. Braxton Berrios to me. 30 years old, but pretty shifty player. That's not a bad slot receiver there. Josh Palmer, not a terrible signing at receiver. Has kind of gotten injured throughout his career. All right, and now we're looking down the list. Terrace Marshall is a first-round pick. A lot of these guys, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Britton Covey, Tylan Wallace. Then you go down the list, right? Diami Brown, 25 years old. How about, by the way, Zacchaeus? How about Olamide Zacchaeus? I mean, do I like Zacchaeus a lot? I like Olamide Zacchaeus. I wonder if he's a free agent, Zacchaeus. I think that would be the dude that I'm trying to get, Olamide Zacchaeus. Yes. Think he's a free agent. 27 years old. Unrestricted. Olamide's the pick for me if I'm the Steelers. He came on big time last year. He had his moments, all right. And now the Seattle Seahawks are now left with for the Seahawks, like, they're rebuilding here. So for them, they're officially rebuilding. They're not really in position to win a championship. So if I'm Seattle, I would even possibly give away. You got a second-round pick out of Metcalf, so you didn't really do what you needed to do. I'm sure that Jacksonville, I mean, I know that they got a second-round pick, but you only got one second-round pick for DK Metcalf. You didn't even trade him to the New York Giants. I guess the Giants weren't going to give away a future pick, but I'm disappointed in the compensation. I thought that Metcalf at 27 years old would be worth a first round pick. I thought that DK would be worth a first round pick. I thought you could shop him around the league and you could possibly gain a first rounder. I believe that he's worth like up to the 31st pick or 32nd pick. I would have tried desperately, like even Kansas City, to try to maybe get a first-round pick in 2026. I wonder if the second-rounder is this year. It might be, all right? But if I'm Seattle, Like, don't you need to be thinking about Arch Manning? Don't you need to be thinking about some of these quarterbacks? They get off of that money. So I understand it. They didn't want to give DK $150 million. They don't have George Pickens. They don't have TJ Watt. They don't have Mike Tomlin. They don't have Minkah Fitzpatrick. They don't have Nate Herbig or Highsmith. They don't really have the offensive line that even the Steelers have. The Steelers do have more talent on that roster. The defense with Porter, with Minkah, I mean, they've been building a pretty good roster. So the Steelers are constant 10 and 9 win winners. You got an owner that's a little bit impatient, but the Steelers really do have a young wide receiver that I think can be elite here. I really do. So the Steelers right now, they need speed. You need lightning speed in the middle of the field. If you can get Stephon Diggs or Tyler Lockett, like, you entertain that. The Steelers are the one building for this year. The Seattle Seahawks, what I would do is just draft good football players. If you draft Tyler Booker, like, you draft bookend solid players, and they're going to do what Oklahoma City did. Like, they're going to, reap this thing and just push it to the studs. They're absolutely going to tear this thing down, and then they're going to build it up. And it's going to be a fun build with a great head coach. So this is more of a mutual liking this move from the Steelers, and I really do. I'm all right with it from Seattle. It would have been perfect if you could have gotten a 2026 first-round pick, because then you can go out and sign a Drew Lock. You could take a swing on a third-round quarterback in this year's draft. But then next year, when you have Dante Moore, you have Nico Yamaya, you have Drew Aller, you have Arch Manning could possibly leave Texas for the draft. Carson Beck's going to be older. There's going to be about 6 quarterbacks. Even Taylon Green is a massive talent. Caden Salter's probably going to be considered. There's more quarterbacks next year than trying to kid yourself on a player in Tyler Shuck that had an absolutely, just no offense to Tyler, had a forgettable college career, or even a Quinn Ewers that is hurt and has doesn't have a lot of mobility skills like Dylan Gabriel. Like, this year's quarterback class, you have Cam Ward, and then only one of these other quarterbacks is going to be like an Andy Dalton level. All right? It wasn't the quarterback class that we just had. However, if Dante Moore is really good, if Garrett Nussmeier has the year I expect, maybe Sam Levitt or Lenore Sellers, like, maybe they're ready. They're talented players. They're both really talented quarterbacks. Maybe they would be willing to leave college. Arch Manning, too, is a young player that doesn't have a lot of experience in college. So if you're Seattle, you're thinking towards the future. Okay, this buys John Snyder time, and it's Mike McDonald time to actually build this roster out. I know this video was long. I know it's going to be long, and I appreciate you guys watching this. This is a monumental trade in the NFL. I absolutely love it for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is one that really moves the needle in the National Football League. And this is what you live for as a football fan, are these offseason acquisitions, and then to see in September it pay out in fruition on the field. You just pray and you just knock on wood for DK to have great health and have a really successful tenure with the Steelers. He's a really, really good person. Okay, was a great receiver at Ole Miss. And then in Seattle, even with Russ, with Geno, he had so many highs. So a great football player, by all accounts, a really good guy, goes to the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, the swagger is back, okay? Mike Tomlin needs to make a deep playoff run, okay? He's one of the most solid coaches in the NFL, but again, he's been in Pittsburgh for about 20 years, and they haven't won playoff games since 2016. Let's see if they make that move. They're putting their chips in. They're being aggressive. This move here might have taken Pittsburgh from a 9-win team up to a 12-win team. This could realistically make you compete in that division, all right? And I know what the critics are saying. Quarterback. I get it. It is one position, but it is The game of football does rely on that position. We shall see what happens tomorrow, guys. What are the Steelers going to do at quarterback? Again, I love it. I love where they're thinking. I love the aggressiveness.